Welcome to Discovering. It's back in the UP for the first time since 1973. We're in Escanaba for the National Trappers Convention, hosted by the UP Trappers Association. We'll take a look at some of the unique things they've got going on.
What I'm working on here right now is the natural muskrat, and what I'm going to be making is a 31-inch coat, like a fingertip length.
They just use the underfur, so here's a sheared beaver, and it's just like velvet. It's very, very soft.
That's all tonight, so stick around. It's time for Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill, the eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
Here we are, we're at the 55th National Convention in Escanaba. We're in the Butler building. As you can see, it's just packed with people. It's Saturday is a big day here. We got a little bit of everything here. There's something for the wife, something for the kids, and something for dad. Anything to do with hunting, fishing, trapping. We got people from, I think I counted so far, 23 states in every province in Canada. We got people from Alaska. Well, people started coming in last Friday, and they figure it's worth about $1.5 million to $2 million for the community. That goes to show you the restaurants, motels, everything is just full. Gas stations everybody's doing great. We had overflow into Iron Mountain and Manistee, so it's helped out the whole UP. People have been going all over the UP. They came in early. They made it as a vacation and come up to see Pictured Rocks, Mackinac Island, Lake of the Clouds. So it's been great for the whole UP to have these people come up. It's called the 55th National Trappers and Outdoor Show. There's everything from t-shirts to wood signs, knife manufacturers, guns. There's, I think I counted 25 different gun dealers that are here. You can buy a pair of work boots, hip boots, waders. There's just about anything, moccasins. There's wood art, craft work. There's outdoor photographs. There's just about anything you can imagine. There's turtle traps. There's smoked catfish for sale on the main drag out here, and it's delicious, let me tell you. There's just a little bit of everything. There's something for everybody. There's kids games for the kids. The pocket park's open. They can fish and anything you want to do. I think we got vendors from every state, honestly, except for Hawaii. They kind of follow the circuit every year where this show rotates all over the country. We're hoping to try and get it back in a few years. There's just a wide variety of vendors, and there's about 550, I think it is, total vendors here. We build a demo area each year. Like the UP Trappers here in Escanaba, we were in charge of having to build a demo area, and according to the Nationals, we set a new standard for it. So we heard nothing but compliments on it. All the big name pros from across the country, the guys that are full-time, this is what they make their living at, are doing demos every hour for 3 days, Thursday, Friday, and this Saturday. It's incredible. The house is packed over there. We have a large screen TV that is just a hit with everybody because no matter where the guy is, you can see what's going on. This event this year is hosted by the UP Trappers. I want to thank all of my volunteers. We had a lot of people come forward that have nothing to do with trapping, that put in 8-10-hour days every single day for a week. It's a lot to undertake for a small organization. We had a lot of trappers step forward and volunteer, and all I can say is thank you.
We're an auction company in North Bay, Ontario, and we have a lot of shippers from the Upper Peninsula in Michigan here. The UP trappers that are hosting this event do a fur pickup all through the UP, and the fur ends up in North Bay. We have 4 auctions a year, 2 in North Bay, 2 in Helsinki, Finland. And so we sell basically their product right to the end user, whether it's in China or Russia or Italy or wherever. What we brought here was just different pelts. These are all tan pelts, so they've already been processed. For instance, here these are beavers, and we all know beaver. You know, it has the long guard hair. Well, what happens in the trade? They take that guard hair off, and they just use the underfur. So here's a sheared beaver, and it's just like velvet. It's very, very soft, and it makes for a beautiful garment, a jacket or a bedspread, or they can even knit with it. Lots of uses for the beaver pelts. So, and the UP here is some of the best beaver produced in all of United States. Comes out of this area here. So, now this one's kind of just a freak. It has some white, so it's just a kind of a specimen, kind of a talking point. Here is some of the different colors of the sheared beaver. You can see how it's kind of different levels, that's sheared at different levels, and then made it kind of an indent into the fur there. Really good for ice fishing or snowmobiling or whatnot, but it's also used in the high fashion industry, which it would be like, you know, made into, it would be sheared, plucked and sheared, all the guard hairs would be taken out, so there's no stubble or nothing, it's just underfur. This is a natural color, but it's from western United States, so probably like Montana or whatnot, where our beaver here tends to be a darker brown color like this. These are coyotes. The western coyotes are really pale in color, and they bring more money. That would be like Montana, where more of our eastern coyotes would be a little bit more brownish and coarser, and they bring a little bit less. But both items are really, really popular right now for trim on parkas. And these are red foxes. We're just showing the different types of red fox, the weight of them. Some are heavier. Some from more of the southern regions are flatter. So they would use this for the body of the coat. They would use a heavier fox for the collar. These are cross fox, and this is kind of an interesting fox. It's called a bastard fox. It looks like a cross fox, but it's actually a red fox. On a cross fox, the underfur is gray all the way up to the top, where on a bastard fox, it's like a red fox. It's gray, but the top of the underfur is red, same as a red fox. In actuality, they're all color phases of the red fox, but it's just different colors. So you got the silver, you got the cross, and you got the red. And this is an Arctic fox. Our auction company, Fur Harvesters Auction, we have signed government contracts with Nunavut in the Northwest Territories, and they produce a lot of Arctic fox. And of course, this is the raccoon. And again, this can either be used in garments or for trim. And this animal here is a fisher. The UP has quite a few fisher, and the guys have can trap fisher up here. It's one of the better items. Usually they sell for $100 plus in the Ross state. And this is a possum and badger and skunks. They make mitts, they'll make coats out of them, but a lot of it's used for like wall hangings or a lot of mitts actually. And here we have wild mink, and this is a ranch mink. So the ranch mink started out years ago from coming out of the wild, but through genetics and proper feeding and whatnot, they made them so much bigger than our wild mink, because the wild mink is, is fighting for his food, and where the ranch mink, they just growing bigger and bigger. And this is a pine marten. Its trade name is Canadian sable, and it's one of the more expensive furs as well. It's very, very soft. They use this a lot on trim on ranch mink coats, and again, it's one of the better selling items. The tails on a marten, they use for fine paintbrush for artists. These are more marten. They really come in different color phases. This is the dark ones bring the most money usually. And these are muskrats. Muskrat is kind of similar to the beaver. They can shear it or they can use it natural. So a lot of times they'll use the belly and they'll use the back separately as well. They're really doing a lot of neat stuff with fur now. The fur dressing companies have developed a lot of different processes, so it's not like grandma's old coat that weighed a ton. Now they're lightweight and lots of different colors and whatnot. So, yeah.
My name's Ron Malport. I'm from Sault Ste. Marie, and my father-in-law was Bob Wilson. He was a longtime trapper and went to a lot of conventions in Wisconsin. He traveled all over the U.S., to tell you the truth, at conventions, but his main thing was trapping, and he loved to show people how to do it, and kids especially. He made a green beaver lure, and I'm still making it. He had a stroke in '96. I was making it with him before then, and it's a popular product. I've had a lot of people that have come by and talked about Bob and how they knew him and how great a trapper he was. And I just came here because the Nationals were close to home and trying to get his product out there again. And so people that are serious trappers use Bob Wilson's green beaver lure.
We have some of the best beaver lure out there, and a lot of people have heard about it and they love it.
They love Bob.
And they love Bob. A lot of people knew Bob and they just loved him. And we love being at this convention. It's awesome.
What I do here in the UP is I rehab injured birds of prey. This is one of my educational birds. His name is Garland. He was injured up near the Garland Zoo, and that's how he got the name. He's got a actually busted up tendon in the foot and he can't grasp. So he's here with me for life, or actually I'm with him for life. He enjoys, we go out, we do programs, educational programs for the kids. He's a very good-natured hawk, red tail, and he's approximately 5 years old. When he come to me, he was immature. He had the white tail, not fully red tail yet. I bring them back to where they come from. When I rehab them, they go right back to the wild, usually where they come from. Unless they're immature, and I can pretty much release them anywhere because they're not territorial yet. Haven't established the territory. This here little guy's name is Sparky. He actually come from Manistiki. He was hit by a semi-truck. If you look at him, he's damaged his wings, the follicles. He cannot grow back the flight feathers in that wing, so he's here with me for life. Sparky's also about 4 years old. They're quite common here in the UP. They're just hard to spot because they blend in so well with the woods. And like I said, he's a barred owl. The dark rings around the eyes are actually facial discs they use for amplifying sound. I do go to schools with them. I come to conventions. I go to YMCA programs. At my facility, I'm not open to the public. My educational birds are not separated from my rehab birds. They're all in the same facility area, facilitated area. I have a flight gauge at home. It's 100 foot long, 18 foot wide, 20 foot high, which after they learn to fly, we put them in there and rehab them and get them strength for a few weeks, and then we turn them back to the wild. This guy's name here is Stinky. He's actually one of the meanest birds here in the UP. He is a great horned owl, and this is the only animal that will attack, kill, and eat a skunk. They have no sense of smell. The great horn is native to the area. Actually, the whole United States it can be found. Stinky actually broke a piece of wing bone out of the wing, too large we couldn't even pin it. And he is chasing a skunk, is how he broke that in a farm field. And that's how he got the name, because I had to ride home in a truck with him. He's got display tufts on the top of his head. They're not ears. The ears are actually in behind the lines on the face, on the facial disc. You see him panting, just like a dog. When they get hot, they don't have sweat glands, so they pant. Probably, I'm going to guess that he's probably about 6 years old. Their eyes are fixed in their head. They can't turn them. That's why they turn their head about 270 to 280 degrees. If this bird ever clamped on you in the wild and you try to get him open, to pull this open, he's got 28 pounds of force to pull that foot open. And to do it, you got to pull the center toe, it'll ratchet, and the rest will open up. But actually squeezing force, you can squeeze up to 200 pounds per square inch, which is quite amazing. These guys feast on just about anything. They'll even take small dogs and cats, and they'll even take fish from time to time. They'll take over other nests. They'll take over the nest of a barred owl, kill the barred owls, eat the owls. They even eat their young. If their young is deformed and are weak, they will eat their young. When he blinks, there's like a second eyelid under there. It's like a pair of glasses they shut when they fly through the woods. It protects their eyes like safety glasses would for you from getting poked with pine needles and sticks, limbs. There's nothing, he fears nothing. They just as soon kill another animal, such as squirrels, even hawks. They'd take their nest over and rather than build their own.
Well, my name's Joe Goodman. I'm an illustrator, an artist, wildlife artist. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. And I got my training at the Columbus College of Art and Design. And I've been illustrating for outdoor magazines, etc., for about 25 years. I got my start with Fur Fish and Game magazine. I was their staff artist for about 20 years, and now I'm kind of off on my own. I prefer to do work about wildlife. I also like the mountain man era, anything pre-1840. I do a lot of mostly black and white historical looking art, illustrations. A lot of times we will take the illustrations and we'll create t-shirts. We'll also do silk screenings onto buckskin and make these old looking stretchings that they used to do with sinew and decorate them with trade beads, etc. I attend a lot of living history shows. There's a lot of guys that dress like this. They let their beard go and they're very particular about dressing accurately to the time period. And I've gotten to befriend a lot of these people and they will go model for me. This particular fellow passed away about 20 years ago. His name's Rob Butler from Xenia, Ohio. He's a history teacher. And we've been to several historic areas around Ohio doing photo shoots. And I draw strictly from the photos I've taken. He went out into the Greene County Fish and Game Club one snowy day, and I told him just go out there and do what a mountain man would do if he was in the middle of nowhere and needed to make a fire. So he scooped out the snow and created a little tinder patch and started a fire, and we took photos of him. And I've been drawing little original drawings of that photo shoot ever since. This piece is called the American Free Trapper. It was done down in southern Ohio. There's in a region called Old Man's Cave where there actually was an old man that lived down there for years and years. He was a hermit. And we took this model down there about 10 years ago. And he's got hand-forged beaver traps. We got a 200-year-old pack basket, and everything he wears is authentic to the time period. And I added the petroglyphs later, the Indian cave drawings, and I think it was a nice touch.
We're out here at the National Trappers Convention selling our wolf and buck pictures in the Escanaba River and having a blast. And if you haven't had a chance to get out and see it, you missed a good show. A lot of people, has people up and down all over the country. They're from here, from all over, and it's been so interesting. And we've had so many people stop by and comment on our pictures, and everybody seems to have a wolf story, and it's been a lot of fun out here.
One of the main reasons I'm here at the show is to do coats or garments, hats, whatever, from the trapper's fur. Now this gentleman brought me in 2 coyote. I made the collar, a big full shawl collar, 2 coyote and 20 raccoons. Now what I've done there for closure, instead of hooks and eyes, I've used the deer antlers. And then he also wanted a pocket for his pistol we put on it. What I'm working on here right now is the natural muskrat, and what I'm going to be making is a 31-inch coat, like a fingertip length. It's going to be just made out of the back, so I don't want the bellies on that. I'm going to use those in the coat too, because she wants light cuffs and that, and a raccoon collar on it. But there's a good Michigan rat, one of my favorite furs. Now, this is connecting the dots. Instead of using a pencil, I'm using a knife. Basically, you have to have them all the same width and the same cut. They can be different lengths in that, depending on where I put the skin. And clean this one up, and I'll sew the two together. If you're ever going to work on fur, you want to use a knife, not scissors, because what you want is the fur to come past the leather. I've had ladies there that shorten their coats on the kitchen table, and then they were eating fur for the next week, because when you're snipping that's cutting all that loose under fur. Now here's where the machine comes in handy. Now this machine is probably from about the 40s and that, and it sews in fact, it sews better than the new ones because the new ones are made outside the country, and they cut down on some of the castings there. Now all we've done is just butted the two edges together. When I sew all these together, I'll mark out the pattern, I'll wet it again, and then block it out to the pattern. And all these little wrinkles and that, as it dries, it'll dry out flat. There's no heavy seam there. You don't feel that. On a sewing machine, you'd have a selvage edge on each side, like about 3/8 of an inch, and it'd be a heavy seam down through there. Gotta have a skunk hat. Hey, I've sold these to ladies that have worn them and right out of the store there. But I picked one with a nice white wide stripe on this. I've got others here on the ring there that aren't as nice, but it takes 2 skunks to make this hat because the skunk doesn't have any fur on the belly part, so I have to work at kind of a matching smaller skin without any white in on that to bring it down. People ask me, well, what kind of a cat is that? Well, it's not cat. It's actually made from the hind paws off the western coyote, and the spots on that are stenciled then. Here's a fox that's bigger than any Michigan coyote that we have there. You ever see a fox that big? It's a ranch-raised fox, comes in of Scandinavian countries there. It's a Norwegian blue. It starts out with that color right there, and then they can dye it just about any color possible there. But that's your Norwegian blue. Here's a beaver vest. The long-haired beaver in the vest part. The first few I made, I used all long-haired. I've gone to the sheared beaver because it's a little softer around the neckline and that.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week right here on Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.